Hello everyone, my name is Ron Timmermans. I'm one of the many hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and today I welcome you from the Sun and Fun campus. Yes, we're here at Lakeland Linder International Airport in Lakeland, Florida, where we're experiencing the 49th annual International Aviation Expo, known as Sun and Fun. It's a great time, great place to be. Beautiful weather today, of course, lots of exhibitors here, lots of airplanes, and all of the wonderful people associated with aviation. I'm pleased to introduce to you one of our guests today, who is going to tell us about his involvement at Polk County. This is Justin LaFerriere, and Justin is with the Visit Central Florida organization. Justin, thank you for being with us today. Welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. It's always good to come and talk to you each year at Sun and Fun.
Indeed it is. And so I've had the opportunity to interview you before, and I'm delighted again to get an update on what's been happening with Visit Central Florida. I can't recall, Justin, are you a Florida native?
Going on 16 now.
16? Wow. Yeah. That's quite the career already. So tell us a little bit about your duties with Visit Central Florida, and what does the organization do, and what do you do for the organization?
Sure. So Visit Central Florida is the official destination marketing organization for Polk County. Our mission is to simply put heads in beds and to make cash registers ring. That is what we do on a daily basis, and we either do that through attracting leisure travelers or groups, sports, special events, meetings and conventions, much like Sun and Fun being the international fly-in, the largest convention in the state of Florida. We're happy to have it here in our backyard in Lakeland. But my job with the organization is, my title is the Senior Visitor Services Manager. That's just a very long way of saying I get the opportunity to run our welcome center, our many welcome centers. We have a main one, and then we have satellite locations as well throughout the county. And it's a fun job. I get to talk to people every day that are on vacation. They're coming in looking for fun things to do, and we can tell them about what Polk County has and all the great things that they can do while they're here with us.
Good. So did you say that this is one of the biggest events in Central Florida each year?
Yeah, it's the largest convention in the state of Florida.
Largest convention in the entire state of Florida, Sun and Fun.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. So we're all part of it today.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Looking
this
forward
is
to another great week.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure it will be, and a safe one, I'm sure as well. So how many people come through Polk County, through Lakeland, through Sun and Fun each year? Give me some idea on some statistics so that we can go, wow.
Yeah, well, I don't have the numbers on Sun and Fun itself, but I can tell you on an annual basis, our visitor count is north of 5 million visitors to Polk County each year.
Wow.
And they come through a multitude of different ways, whether that be an aviation route and come in through our main airports at Tampa or Orlando and drive into Polk County, or just drive through traffic as well. Obviously, being located in the center of the state like we are, it's a good place to quote unquote call home while you're staying in Florida and have the opportunity to see everything while you're here.
Yeah, indeed. So drive in, that would be on I-4, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately. I-4,
so
75.
That's a challenge for lots of us,
Yeah.
I-4 and I-75, sometimes a horizontal parking lot, but the destination is worth it. So if you can endure the interstate highways and make it to the destination, it's great. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's more to do in Polk County than just Sun and Fun. Give us some ideas of what else you have available for tourism opportunities for folks.
It's a great question. We actually are just transitioning out of a marketing campaign that was titled Choose Everything. And the aspect or the mindset of that was stay with us and have the opportunity to choose everything that Florida has to offer. The great thing about Polk County is that it has pretty much a little bit of everything, with the exception of being a beach, obviously, since we're in the center of the state. However, we are 80 miles to either coast from Polk County, so you're not far from any beach in the state of Florida. We have theme parks. Legoland Florida Resort is our biggest attraction here in Polk County. It's the largest Legoland theme park in the world. Obviously home to Cypress Gardens Botanical Gardens, Florida's first theme park as well. We have Bach Tower Gardens, which is a 60-bell Carillon tower that sits on the third highest point in the state of Florida, with 250 acres of botanical gardens surrounding that tower. We're home to the largest working dude ranch in the southeast U.S. at Westgate River Ranch. We have the largest single-site collection of Frank Lloyd Wright architecture ever assembled in the entire country, or in the entire world, excuse me, at Florida Southern College, which is just a few miles here from the Sun and Fun campus. And then we actually, believe it or not, have an African-style safari wilderness. They have hundreds of different species out there where you can actually take a safari trek through the land and have an opportunity to mingle with those species.
Wow. So there's more than just sun and fun at Lakeland and Polk
Yeah.
County. There's a lot of things to do. You could come here and stay a long time, or probably just as good as they come back frequently.
Yeah, we'd love
and
them
over again.
love for them to do both.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Well, this is great. I guess I wasn't even aware of all those things that were available here in Polk County. I'd forgotten that Bach Tower Gardens is in the county.
It is.
That's a nice place to go.
Yep.
And Legoland, of course, that's a real popular attraction.
It is.
So do you get some spillover folks from the Brand D Park up in Orlando? Do they come down here afterwards or beforehand? Or
Yeah,
in lieu of?
thankfully we do. Our flagship Welcome Center is at I-4 and 27, which is 7 miles west of Disney World. So we're not far from the Mouse's house, as we like to call it. However, I want to mention my director. He likes to affectionately refer to our neighbors as the two, we're the valley of humility between the two mountains of conceit. And he says that tongue-in-cheek, of course.
Of course, yeah.
We love our partners to our east and our west, but it is very busy in those destinations, and very often, especially at our Welcome Center there at I-4 and 27, we get a lot of visitors that come in and say, I've played at the Mouse's house, I want to breathe now, what can we do?
Yeah.
And and thankfully here in Polk County, we're much more affordable than our neighbors, but we have a vast diverse array of different things to see and do, from a nature-based activities to our water-based activities to our aviation activities as well. So we're not just a concrete jungle where you can go walk and play at the Mouse's house. It's a rite of passage, so to speak, when you come to Florida to do that. But it's also pretty unique to come to Polk County, and we're happy to promote it.
It is indeed. It's great, and lots of things to see and do in Polk County, for sure. You mentioned water activities. So, in some of the surrounding lakes, is that what you have things to do here?
Believe it or not, there's 554 lakes in this county. So there is.
Wait a minute. 554 lakes in the county.
In Polk County. Yep.
So that's a lot of water activity potential.
Now, Polk County's big. There's 2,000 square miles in this county, so it's a big county. But there are, like I said, 554 lakes. We are home to the chain of lakes in Winter Haven. It's 28 lakes interconnected by canals. So there's an opportunity to do airboats and pontoon boat cruises, kayak tours, paddleboarding, jet skiing, pretty much anything you could think of that you want to do on the water, you have the opportunity to do it here.
And float plane flying as well.
Absolutely.
Of course? Yeah, great.
We have a great seaplane base over in Winter Haven at the Winter Haven Airport. Jack Brown Seaplane Base. Excuse me.
Well, that's great. That's great.
A lot of great opportunities.
So earlier I heard you say part of your job is to get heads in beds.
Heads in beds. Yep.
Yeah. So give me an idea, how many beds or how many hotel spaces do you have in the county?
Great. So don't hold me to this number.
I'm not going to go count them, I promise you.
It's in the ballpark of like 8,500 hotel beds. Hotel rooms, excuse me. There could be multiple beds in those rooms. And then we have pretty comparable to that, about 7,000 to 8,000 vacation rental homes as well. Mainly centered in the eastern corridor in that Davenport area, close to Walt Disney World. So between the two, 16 to 17,000 beds.
Wow. And I imagine you measure success partly in occupancy rate. Is that a fair way of saying it?
Yep.
So what do you average, or does it vary widely during the year?
It does. I mean, the tourism industry ebbs and flows throughout the year. Right now, we're in our busiest part of the year. February and March is when everybody is here. Spring break season, the snowbirds are down. Obviously, I think they just had 10 inches of snow up in Wisconsin last week, so they're happy to be down here.
Yeah, I could imagine they are. I'm happy to be down here.
Right.
I haven't even been to Wisconsin.
So it's a busy time of the year right now. In our occupancy rate, usually is in the 85 to 90% in the busy times. On average throughout the year, with all of the downtimes, May and September are two slowest times of the year. We get down in like the 65, 70% range. So on average, we're in that 75-ish range.
And then summertime is pretty good for tourism here as well?
Yeah, summertime does well. Obviously, it's a little nicer up north as well, so we're competing against the other 49 states. But summertime is a really strong season for our international contingency. Specifically in the month of July, we see a lot of UK visitors come over. And we're happy that the restrictions have been lifted after the pandemic a few years ago. It took a while for that contingency to come back, and this year, thankfully, we're starting to see them come back in droves, and we're happy to welcome them.
That's great. That's great. Heads in beds in Polk County. That's wonderful. Yep. You mentioned the Welcome Center over in the northeast part of the county, is that?
Correct. Yeah.
So tell us about that and what people might find there and why would they come there?
Thank you for asking. That Welcome Center is actually 16 years old. It opened in March of 2007. I started there in May of 2007 and have the distinct opportunity to manage that facility now with a great team. But we are actually home to the only USA Water Ski and Wake Sports Hall of Fame and Museum in the entire country at that Welcome Center. But we have we affectionately call it our Purely Polk Marketplace. It's a gift shop, if you will, within our Welcome Center that showcases locally produced products here in Polk County. We want to give our visitors the opportunity to take home a special gift that is unique to Polk County. Hopefully they can go deeper into Polk County and find those gifts at the actual shops or the locations where we get them from, but if not, we have them there at the Welcome Center.
Right at the Welcome Center, so it's a one-stop shop. You can get all the goodies you need to bring back home and put on the shelf, or whatever you do with it.
We've got discount attraction tickets out there as well to all the major attractions. We're not remiss to think that even though you may be putting your head in a bed here in Polk County, you'll want to visit the Mouse's House, so we do have tickets for those locations as well.
Good.
So we're a one-stop shop, like you said.
Well, that's great. That's great. Lots of things to see and do in Polk County, and visit Central Florida is the organization that kind of orchestrates it all for your pleasureful visit to Polk County.
Exactly.
That's great. So do you do a lot of marketing outside the state of Florida to attract people in other states? Do you do advertising? Do you do spot commercials on TV? What all do you do?
We do. Thankfully, I've got another counterpart that oversees that, and I don't have to manage the out-of-market advertising. I make my money, so to speak, on the in-market stuff. The second half of our mission, if you will, the cash registers ring, is where my team really excels. But we have an entire marketing department that really focuses on getting visitors here, putting those heads in beds, and then we take over and make sure they're making cash registers ring. So keeping them here in Polk County.
Oh, I see.
So they stay longer and spend more money.
Sure.
But we have our target markets. Obviously, Michigan's a big one for us. Lakeland is home to the Detroit Tigers. They just ended their 86th season of spring training here in Lakeland. Longest standing relationship between a Major League Baseball organization and a spring training destination. Michigan's huge. New York is a big one for us as well. Wisconsin, because of the ties to show skiing between Tommy Bartlett's in Wisconsin. Cypress Gardens in Winter Haven is a big one as well. And we're really starting to see, believe it or not, Texas is really moving up the ladder in terms of a emerging market, if you will, for visitation.
How interesting. So Texas, even though they would generally enjoy warm weather and even during the winter, they're getting more visitors that are coming to Central Florida.
Yeah, we're surprised as to why it's happening, but we're not going to bat an eye at it. We'll welcome them.
And you're not going to push them away
either,
of course.
Not at all.
Okay, that's
not
good.
At all.
That's good. So you'd mentioned the Detroit Tigers. I just want to mention that a couple weeks ago I went to one of the preseason games where unfortunately the Tigers got beat by the Yankees that day, but it was a fun event to be at a baseball game. It's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah.
Even though it was spring training, it had all the thrill and flair of a Major League Baseball game, because it was just that, a Major League Baseball game. So it was fun to see them out there and playing and interact with the fans, and of course eat hot dogs, and I think there was some beer involved as well. So it's always a good
like
thing.
Like I said, it's a rite of passage, right?
Indeed, it is. I think it is. So so we talked about bringing people in from out of state, and you've got a marketing department that focuses on that, and then your marketing is mostly when people get here.
You got it.
So. Where all can people stay? Obviously in Lakeland, and you'd mentioned some other cities. What are other cities in Polk County?
There's 17 different municipalities in this county. Lakeland, Winter Haven is the biggest, or the two biggest. Excuse me. They are one. From a Census Bureau perspective, they lump Lakeland and Winter Haven together. They call it Lakeland, Winter Haven. They call it an MSA, or a metropolitan statistical area. And believe it or not, Lakeland and Winter Haven is the second fastest growing MSA in the entire country.
Really?
So there's a ton of people moving here. We're not going to turn them away either. We'll welcome them.
So all people from the north are not just all going to Miami or to Orlando.
No. They're coming to Central Florida.
Well, that's good.
I mentioned that affordability factor. That's not just for visitors. That's for new residents as well.
Sure.
But over on the east part of the county, our Welcome Center is in Davenport, Haines City, Lake Wales, where Bach Tower is. Auburndale is home to our headquarters at the Lake Myrtle Sports Complex.
Oh, that's where you are.
I'm at the Welcome Center.
Oh, you're at the Welcome Center.
Davenport, but our headquarters is at Lake Myrtle in Auburndale. So
good.
There's a bunch of different municipalities. A lot of them are great little small towns with kind of that Main Street US hometown USA type feel.
Sure.
So it's great, like we talked earlier, but be able to get away from Orlando and Tampa and come and have that relaxing vacation that you're really looking for when you're on vacation. Polk County has that to offer.
Lots of restaurants here in Lakeland, at least. I'm sure other cities as well.
Yeah.
Good cuisine, and that's good. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. I wanted to ask about, talk about water sports. Well, let's go to this. You mentioned that there's a new campaign that you're starting with Visit Central Florida. Tell us a little bit about that. What's it called?
Yeah, we're rolling it out slowly. We want to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row before it really goes mainstream, but it's we're calling it our Rooted in Flavor campaign. And that's just a way for us to champion all the great local restaurants that we have, the great agritourism opportunities that we have. When I say agritourism, think like you pick farms for blueberries or strawberries or things like that. And then really telling the story of how those individuals from the farming aspect and their product works their way into the restaurants here in Polk County. So it's really that full circle type of culinary experience, if you will, from our local farmers all the way to the plates that you have in front of you at our local restaurants.
And did you mention agritourism?
Yep.
And tell me more specifically, what is that?
So like our U-Picks, so blueberries, things of that nature, but obviously Polk County has a rich history in the citrus industry as well. So a lot of agritourism is based in the citrus industry. Think of orange juice. So when visitors come into the state of Florida, not only Polk County, they expect to be able to get a glass of Florida orange juice, right? It's, again, I go back to it, I've used it a lot, the rite of passage when you come to Florida. We thankfully have a great local orange juice manufacturer in Ridge Island Groves. It's a local family-owned grove out in Haines City. They harvest their oranges, they produce their own orange juice. We offer that as a free sample at our Welcome Center in Davenport. We offer it at our Welcome Center here on site at the Sun and Fun campus as well. So if you're out and about, come see us. You can get a sample of fresh Florida orange juice here on site. But things of that nature are what we mean by agritourism. So really championing our agricultural aspects, our local farmers, our people like Ridge Island Groves that are family owned, that are out there working in the dirt every day to produce a great product and represent Polk County well.
Very good. Well, that's good. And you can get some samples at the Welcome Center here at Sun and Fun, which is, where is it located on the campus?
It's at the corner of Tom Mack and Laird, right across from Hangar A.
Okay.
Right across there. So we're the only blue building with a yellow roof on campus.
So you can't miss that.
Can't miss us.
Blue building, yellow roof.
Yep.
Welcome Center for Visit Central Florida at the Sun and Fun campus. So this is a great place to go. Get a sample of orange juice and maybe a little bit of shade for a few minutes, which would
We've
be
got
good.
AC.
Yeah, and they got AC, so
come see us.
Everything else is good about that. And so while you're here visiting at Sun and Fun, figuring out what airplane you want to go see next or what friends you're going to visit with while you're here at the campus, stop by Central Florida, visit Central Florida's Welcome Center, and figure out what you want to do maybe on an off day from Sun and Fun, or when you finish the things at Sun and Fun at the end of the week, then you might want to stay and visit some more parts of Central Florida. There's a lot of things to do and see here, as Justin mentioned. And then we would be remiss if we didn't mention some safety aspects. So you're probably wondering how are we going to integrate safety into the discussion on marketing tourism for Central Florida? Well, it just so happens that Justin mentioned you have a destination management focus for natural disasters.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about that, because this is really unique, and this is amazing that a company like this would be able to help during a natural disaster.
So we of course want to make sure not only in the good times throughout the year, but in the bad times. We do live in Florida. There are at times natural disasters that tend to pop up. And while throughout the year we are a destination marketing organization where we want to get folks here to Polk County, if things happen, we want to make sure they're taken care of while they're here within our borders in Polk County. So if a natural disaster does happen to come our way, we tend to transition into, like you mentioned, a destination management organization, where we really focus on ensuring our hoteliers and our accommodations are ready to go, ready to receive our visitors that may be coming over from the coast, because a lot of times when those storms hit the coast, visitors come over from the coast and they're coming to Polk County. So we want to be prepared for them when they come. We want to take care of the visitors that are here when they're here. So we really focus on prepping Polk County before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm. really managing our industry stakeholders, making sure they're taken care of, doing damage assessments, knowing who's open, knowing who has pet accessibility, handicap accessibility, all that good stuff, so we can meet those needs when those visitors are in market. So it's a heavy lift, but we're more than glad to do it to make sure that our visitors are taken care of, because it's things like that that they remember.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's great. I had no idea that you would do all this preparation for a natural disaster, but it makes sense because in Florida we have hurricanes and other natural disasters, of course, and just last year we had 2 hurricanes come through the southwest part of Florida. I imagine you had a lot of people that were trying to escape the disaster areas and come up here, and you had hotels and things arranged for them to get ready to.
We were ready to
receive
accept
them.
them.
So
Yep.
that's wonderful. What a great asset you are then to Central Florida, not just in bringing in tourists and helping people have a great recreational experience, but also an emergency experience where they can at least feel a little bit better for a short while until they get into the recovery mode. Well, it's been a great interview, Justin, and I'm so glad you joined us again. It's great to have you with us. I wish you the best in your organization and all of Central Florida as you welcome visitors, not just this week at Sun and Fun, but throughout the year. A large number of visitors that come through. Justin is all about heads in beds. That's and right. cash registers ringing and the like. Of course, there's promoting the local economy. But it's great to have you with us. I'm so glad that you could join us once again. Thank you for joining us as well. This has been a great opportunity to interview Justin LaFerriere with Visit Central Florida. It's good to have you and good to have you with us again. Please come back again for another interesting interview in a short time. This is Ron Timmermans. I'm with the Florida Aviation Network. We're broadcasting live and in the clear from the Lakeland Airport. Thank you again.